and their lieutenants are sure to go to great lengths to avoid fighting another protracted land war in the developing world. That means that the mission that has been the Army's main force driver over the past decade will probably be of secondary, if not tertiary, importance. Third, given the troubles afflicting the American economy, especially its huge budget deficits, the military budget is likely to be exposed to the knife in the decades ahead, forcing the Pentagon to make lots of hard choices about the kinds of military forces it should buy. To justify large expenditures, each service is going to need a compelling story about how it is essential for protecting the national interest. The Army is going to have a particularly hard job doing that because counterinsurgency and nation building will be hard to sell, and because the Army is of limited utility for dealing with a rising China. There's one additional factor that is unrelated to the strategic environment that will make life difficult for the Army in the years ahead. That factor is the Marine Corps. As you all know well, the United States has two separate land armies, the Marine Corps and the Army. And the Marines are going to want to play a key role in Asia. The Marines are brilliant at public relations, which means they will be very effective at securing scarce defense dollars. Furthermore, the Marines are joined at the hip with the Navy, which will have a big role to play in the Asia-Pacific region, and will be inclined to privilege the Marines over the Army more often than not. All of this is to say that the Army will have to work overtime to be an important player as the United States becomes increasingly concerned with checking a rising China. Before laying out my thinking on these matters in detail, I want to emphasize that I'm not hostile to the Army in any way. Indeed, I have a special place in my heart for that institution. Besides being a former enlisted man in the Army, as well as a West Point graduate, I have long argued that land power is the principal ingredient of military power, and that most wars are ultimately won or lost on the ground. These are central themes in my book, The Tragedy